morning. This is Will. Today I will show you how to use alloys in Tinker's Construct. First alloy that we will be showing off, that I've already shown you in a previous video how to make, will be made with copper and aluminum. Okay, so what we need first, of course you will need your smeltery. You will need enough lava to run your smeltery. Oops, yep, okay, I needed the casting table. Right, so first, of course, always make sure your smeltery is empty. This ensures that you do not accidentally mix metals that you did not know of had a separate alloy. This is particularly important when you first start using Tinker's Construct in a new mod pack, as there may be alloys from other mods that you are unaware of. So, first, you will need some copper. Second, you will need aluminum, like this. You will need 3 aluminum per 1 copper. I happen to have that off in... I have quite a lot of aluminum and not very much copper, but that is fine. I have more copper here. So we will just put in 1 and 3. This is fundamental for making your castings, as it is much cheaper to use than gold, and actually much easier to find near the surface of the world. Considering gold, you have to dig down to about 40 or 20. Next metal you'll want to be able to make with Tinker's Construct alloys is... well, it's dependent on whether you have access to steel, but if you do not have access to steel, which is not inherently provided by Tinker's Construct, you will want to make. It is a mixture of 2 obsidian, 2 iron, and 5 aluminum. This produces an alloy called Alumite. Could be pronounced in different ways. It has the same properties. It is improved over iron in many ways. I believe it has the ability to mine cobalt, and it has a higher durability than iron. It is recommended that you still use a slime tool rod for your handle, as the modifier for handles is the same as with an iron pickaxe. Now that our Alumite is all smelted up together, it takes some time to do, and you may need to refill your lava if you were as low as I was at the start. You'll have a pinkish liquid in the smeltery. Do not step in your smeltery. It is hot and will hurt you. So the first thing we'll do is use some of that to make a pickaxe head. Off camera, I went off and got myself a slime rod. I like to quickly before I continue, talk to you about bronze. Bronze is another metal that is natively supported. I don't usually use it early on, as it is only marginally better than iron, or not at all. It may in fact be equal to or lesser than iron. So the next thing we will need is a tool binding. So we could make our tool binding out of Alumite, and I think I will. Now you may be wondering, now that we have half of a bar left, what can I do to save that half a bar? Well, your options in natively in Tinker's Construct aren't very good, but the best thing now that you can resmelt is just to make a second crossbar. Store it for later. Either you'll use it or you can resmelt it when you're making a equivalently costing item. If you were making a tool rod, you wouldn't have this issue because the tool rod costs the same as the binding. So now that we have our parts necessary for a new pickaxe, we'll put them in the tool forge and produce our Alumite pickaxe. As you can see, it has a very high durability compared to your iron pickaxe. It can also mine cobalt ore. Next, I will be showing you how to find cobalt ore. Welcome to the Nether. Cobalt ore is one of two ores generated in Tinker's Construct, which are only found in the Nether. The other ore is called ardite. These together produce the strongest alloy in the Tinker's Construct. To find cobalt, look for a bluish ore like this. To find ardite, you look for a yellowish ore. You can often find ardite cobalt and ardite exposed on the walls and ceilings of the Nether. Generally, I would not suggest mining for it unless you're using a machine of some sort, as it is not common enough, as far as I've been able to tell, to make mining it worth your trouble. As you can see, I have Natura on this mod pack as well. That is another mod made by the same person or group who makes Tinker's Construct. One of the things it produces is these ash clouds. The normal clouds are useful for making large drops, as you will not take any damage when you fall on one, so long as you actually fall on it directly. Well, I'll come back when I find some ardite and show you what you need to do. So I have found 2 ardite. And as you can see, you are able to mine them, as they are also cobalt level ore. They are in fact probably the only 2 cobalt level ores in the game, unless you have another mod pack that adds an ore of that level. Um, yes, so let us return to the smeltery, and I will show you how to use these to make a Manulium pickaxe. See, I've returned to my smeltery, and as per usual, make sure to empty out your smeltery before continuing if you are going to be making a different kind of alloy. One thing to note is that the smelter will not hurt you if there's nothing in it. Usually. So, to make Manulium, you put one ardite and one cobalt into your smeltery. These are representations of what the blocks would look like, but you should remember that they are not real and that they are not going to necessarily give you a full cube worth of Manulium when you're done. You should expect actually to only have one Manulium per 2 ardite and 2 cobalt, as that is the mixing ratio. So we'll wait for these to melt, and when they do, I will show you how to make your pickaxe with it. Okay, so our Manulium is done smelting. Fortunately, it appears as though I was slightly incorrect in my ratio. You will get 2 Manulium from 1 ardite and 1 cobalt combined together. Sometimes it may seem as though you'll get less than that, but that isn't really an accuracy. You'll just find that when you're making larger items, you can end up using up quite a lot of that cobalt and ardite. So the first thing we're going to do is make our pickaxe head. Next, we're actually going to remove the remaining ardite from the smeltery, as I intend to produce I called it ardite, remaining Manulium from the smeltery, as I intend to produce one more casting that I have not created so far. That casting, of course, is actually a tool rod casting. The reason we are going to do so is that Manulium has a much higher handle modifier than, well, it's marginally higher than slime. So we'll be using Manulium this time. In addition to that, I think I would like to have an additional modifier on this tool in with a sacrifice to the actual durability, as I plan to switch it out with my current pickaxe, which is actually an ardite pickaxe. I just have a bunch of modifiers on it. So the material I will be wanting to make, this is not an alloy, of course, is paper. Paper allows you... We will need to go to our forge upstairs to do this. Yes, we'll need to go our forge upstairs for that as well. It does not allow you to produce a casting off of a stick. That is good to know. And we are rapidly ascending to our workshop above. You can see that I have put all the stone tools and iron tools I've created so far for these tutorials in there. We will take our slime rod, since I've already got one. That will do for making the casting of a slime rod. Next, we need to make a tool binding. I put it on the wrong side. Right, there we are. So we have a tool binding, and you get paper back so you don't lose much. Paper is certainly not a durable material. Does not tell me. There it is. It is really bad as a handle. It is remarkably bad. That will cut your handle, your durability quite significantly. Do not make it. Do not use it as a head either, because it will only be able to mine slowly, and it will only be able to mine stone. But it doesn't say here the number of modifiers you'll be able to place on your tool will increase by 1. And this can really be an advantage overall. So we'll return down to our smeltery. I would advise not falling like that unless you are also wearing Tinker's wearing power armor or some other sort of fall dampening ability, which I have in my shoes. Shock absorbers. Right, so we will make our slime. We'll make our casting off of the slime rod. And we will resmelt our last Manulium ingot. The reason we took it out and then put it back in is because you can't control which the basically the concept you should remember with the smeltery is that everything the first thing to come out of your smeltery will be the last thing you put in. No, I said that wrong. That is not right. That would be what's called a stack. That's different. That's like if you have a stack of paper and you put things on top of the paper, the first thing you're going to remove, if you're removing things in that stack, is going to be the last thing you put on. The first thing you put in is the first thing that comes out. Therefore, we have to remove the first thing, the earliest thing we put in, before we can get to access to any other material. Thus, it is way more efficient to make sure that your queue, as it is referred to in programming at least, or your queue is empty, relatively speaking, so that you can very quickly have a turnover time. And at this, you're going to have to wait for smelting anyways, usually. So you might as well have also not have to worry about mixing metals, which is the other major reason not to put two different typed metals in that you don't know the reactions to. So our Manulium should smelt quite soon, and as soon as it does, I will create the rest of the pickaxe. Now that our Manulium has smelted, we will continue creating the pickaxe. First, we will make a slime rod. We will not make a slime rod. I'm sorry. We will make our Manulium rod. We will have half of a Manulium bar left. So at this point, I don't have anything better to make with it, so I will just make a second rod. This could be useful for if you want to make a Manulium axe or a sword of some sort with it. And we'll set that aside for later. Now we will go to our tool forge, select the pickaxe design, put the Manulium parts in, and the paper binding. As you can see, it did not actually the binding may not actually affect the durability very much at all, as our durability is the same, appears to be the same. If we'll go into our book and look up Manulium full tool durability is 3000. So it appears as though the binding may not actually have that much effect on your durability. It may just be the combination of the multiplication of your handle modifier by your durability. In fact, I will go and mathematically check this with a calculator. So we'll put in 12,000, multiply it by 2.5, and yes, 2.5 times 12,000 is 3,000. So mathematically, I have just determined, hopefully correctly, that this is the highest you will get anyways, so you might as well use a paper binding. And now we have a pickaxe that is writable. The writable property it really means that you will be able to add an additional modifier. Next time, I will show you how to add modifiers to your pickaxe, if you have not already done so that I can recreate my haste, auto repair, and silky pickaxe. Yes, right. So, have a nice evening, or morning, as it happens to be. Goodbye.